I'm home, Jackie announces, as the living unit door slides open. Before he can fully step inside, he's assailed by two mini Terrans, each lashing onto a leg. They giggle and laugh as their father grunts to continue walking with these leg weights. Oh boy, you two are getting too big for this, he tells them, before struggling to turn around. Alright. Katie, Gian, we're having guests over for a bit. Come on, say hi. The two identical sisters turn to see the hulking woman, followed by a lady of a new species they have yet to encounter, pass through their home's entrance. Both fear and wonder flood their small faces as the rugged lady with a wild red mane plants her fist into her hips. Well, these are the troublemakers who won't eat their vegetable nutrition paste, eh? She says, with a raised eye tuft. Jackie crosses his arms and looks down amusingly at his daughters expectantly. That's right, he responds teasingly. Is that a pirate? The girl on the left asks in a small voice. Simone lets out a huff of air through her nose and kneels down on a knee to get closer to their eye level. Something like that, she answers in a low voice, as she reaches into one of her coverall pockets. I'm here to punish someone about the nutrition paste. Both girls recoil to hide behind their father's legs, but immediately peek out at a familiar crinkly sound. From the pocket, the redhead pulls out two mega-sized cocoa slab pies. Jackie's eyes open upon realization, but he's far too late to stop his offspring from launching themselves in exciting squeals and each enthusiastically taking a pie for themselves. He speaks up, but before words can fully form any protest, John and Katie has already unwrapped and digs into their gifted treats. He sighs and gives the chuckling guests an unapproving stare. Why, you know how mad their mother is gonna be, he asks, defeated. Not my fault you guys suck at hiding nutrition paste in their food, Simone replies with a coy shrug. How dare... I invite you to my home after all these years, and you instantly undermine my parenting. And my cooking, that somehow hurts more. Jackie shakes his head before chuckling. Want a beer? The man turns and disappears into the kitchen area. Hell yeah, Simone starts to say before correcting herself. No, actually, I'm good. Really? Alright then, how about a pep stack? Fair warning, it's diet. Blame Donna. Oh, shoot. Would the fiancé like anything? I'm not sure what you can have, the man's voice offers. Sure, Simone responds while looking over to Chuck, who is taken in by how adorable the Terran offspring are as they munch through the pies. Oh, I'm fine, thank you, the Callie answers. Gotcha. Go ahead and make yourselves at home. Couch is free real estate, Jackie notifies. Grunting out from her knees and back protesting a bit, Simone stands back up and gravely lifts over to the aged cushions. Chuck sits herself down right next to the Terran, looking around the abode curiously. Was your childhood home like this? She asks. Mine was a bit smaller, but pretty much, Simone replies, as she rests her thick arms along the back of the couch. One of the girls, mouth caked with chemical chocolate, sits on the floor in front of them. Is that your pet? She bluntly asks, pointing her hand up to the creature pressing the side of Simone's neck. The redhead shakes her head. No, they're my kid. They're a tough, still just a baby, she answers. The other girl, being a bit more shy, then approaches as well. How do you know Daddy? She says in a much softer voice. We grew up and played baseball together. I'm from this colony too, and I'm visiting after a long time of being away, Simone explains. You know Daddy too? The sitting girl inquires to Jack. Oh no, this is my very first time here. I think it's a very pretty place, the Callie answers honestly. Are you collie? The sheep people? Although my species is referred as such by Terrans, I must admit the resemblance is vague. I honestly think I'm more similar to Terran insects if a comparison must be made, but with a mammalian-like twist. Oh, my people are called Callie. No worries though. It doesn't surprise me that I will be the first you would encounter. My name is Chuck, by the way, the Callie replies pleasantly. I'm Katie. That's Jung, the sitting girl clarifies, to the Callie's great relief. It's so very nice to meet you two, Chuck responds with a short bounce. It's then Jackie returns with two glasses in his hands. He first extends the soda for Simone to take, and then rests himself in an adjacent chair. Thanks, bud, the redhead says before taking a sip. Course. Hey, girls, you thank Simone for the slab pies? He redirects to his daughters. Thank you, the two reply in off unison. Jackie then rolls his eyes and nods his head sideways. Good. Now Mama should be back soon. Do you want her to find out you ate those right before dinner? He asks. The two shake their heads. Then go wash up, and if your room's spotless, we can keep it between us, alright? He tells. To this, the sisters scamper off without another word at their father's amusement. You really gonna keep it from Donna? Simone asks, not believing it for a second. Of course I am. Though if I explain that it was you that gave me an early dessert, I may diffuse her wrath, he jokes. But since we're alone now, might I ask what you're hoping to get from Denver's things? Simone slumps her shoulders a bit. Let's say I'm going on a bit of a treasure hunt, she replies. Wait, you think Denver wasn't just blowing hot air? Dude claimed to have discovered Space Atlantis, Jackie says in disbelief. No, I know, but he did run with legit relic hunters at some point. My job is a legit one, though you would be more inclined to believe me if I said it was Space Atlantis, the redhead admits. No shit, but why go through Denver's contacts specifically? Surely finding retrievable relic hunters isn't so hard. Could probably find a few advertising themselves on the net even, the man points out. Because I'm not looking for some loudmouth company with actual reputation. I need passionate hobbyists, so even if they scream out their discovery to the stars, it will take time for someone to notice, Simone says. Jackie leans forward in his seat. What have you gotten yourself into? He asks, with the utmost seriousness. Jackie, you're probably way too reasonable and smart to believe it, Simone responds, matching his tone. Try me. The redhead rests her head back on the couch in consideration. Without drawing any potential heat to you or your family, all I can say is that I found myself in a position that could very well dictate the future of the entire galaxy. Me and everyone on our ship. Not even an exaggeration. I wish it was bullshitting you. It's insane. Too insane for you to be concerned with, she says, before taking a much heavier drink from her off-brand diet soda. Yeah, that does sound impossible, he grunts. But I'll trust that you know what you're doing. Simone can't help but laugh at that. Shit, man, I'm just winging it. Mostly. I'm just hoping we're going to be enough of a wildcard to make a real difference, she admits. Yeah, that sounds about right, Jackie chuckles, before looking at his other guest. So, you said you picked her up in a bar? I thought Callies couldn't drink. Oh, well, I was in the establishment looking for a Terran to hire as our ship's security, and it would be more accurate to say that she picked me up. Simone saved me from a gang giving me trouble. She brought me out to the side alley to give me a lecture about entering a Terran bar by myself. Chad giggles, as she leans up against the redhead. Yeah, been saving her butt ever since, Simone starts to agree, but soon corrects, though she saved mine quite a bit too. Well, I'm glad you found your person, Simone. I would be lying if I said I wasn't worried about you when Sam came back, Jackie says, before making a quick toast upward for the deceased. Nobody could get any info on you, not even an MIA. I'm surprised anyone even cared enough to ask, Simone responds earnestly. Of course. After Robert passed, everyone kinda just agreed to keep an eye out for you. What? Yeah, I still vividly remember my ma sitting me down and having this whole discussion over trying to be extra nice and all that. I think most of our friend group had the same talks, Jack reveals, with a lift of his half-drained glass. Simone furrows her brow, trying to recall that time period. So, that's why you guys let me hang out with you. Outside baseball, that is, she says a bit disappointed. Sorry I was such a little shit back then. I was an angry kid who struggled with expressing myself right. Hey, we were all just dumb kids. Nothing to forgive as far as I'm concerned. I'll fully admit we initially invited you to do things because our parents told us to, but we genuinely liked having you around after a while, seriously. Honestly, it was our own fault for being too intimidated to hang out with you before then. Jackie looks over to Chuck. She became our damn guardian in school. No one messed with us after she started hanging. Plus, she kicked ass in baseball. Practically carried our team the entire time. I believe it. She takes every opportunity she can to help others. I've personally seen it myself many times, Chuck replies with a bounce. Yeah, well, I'm still not perfect, Simone points out. I had a few heavy struggles after slipping away from the Union. I imagine. They probably had hounds looking for you non-stop, Jackie agrees. No, not really. The thing was, war broke me for a long time, especially after my reason for leaving. I felt low. Real damn low. Simone gazes up at Jackie with a small smile. But I'd live through all of it again if it meant being where I am now. I think I haven't been this happy since before my dad died, and I'm even happier to know I still have friends here to rely on. Thanks for the warm welcome, Jackie. It means the universe. Wordlessly, the man raises his glass up high towards the redhead, and without hesitation, she meets it with her own to solidly clink.
Bwahaha! You must be joking! Ha ha ha!
Chocknot bellows as he sits on the stool in front of Ted's cooking shuttle.
Not even a little bit! Caught the red-handed, naked, high and scrambling eggs right where I stand. They were lucky I didn't call security. Well, perhaps they would have preferred that. I ended up giving them a good smacking right in their haunches with this very spatula, They ran out of my place for all of those in the docks to see. The rambunctious Terrans, I swear.
To be quite fair, that sounds like the sort of trouble I would find myself in back in the day. Ha ha ha!
The captain replies, as he drinks some of the offered non-alcoholic fruit beverage.
Really? Oh, to be young, reckless and without foresight. I still miss those days myself at times, but now that I see the exit door approaching, I have no regrets,
Ted says, as he dips sickly sliced potatoes into bubbling oil.
Aye, I believe I've started seeing that very same exit myself, but I still have quite a lot to finish before I face it. Far too many loose ends left untied, and too many people depending on me, Chocknock admits.
Not sure if I ought to pity or envy that, Ted muses in response. So, you've been travelling with our Simone now, have you? How has she been?
The captain thinks on what the best course to take this conversation.
She has seen many hardships, dare I say comparable to my own, and unfortunately, on the path we are taking, I see more to come, is inevitable. And yet, I can tell you with absolute confidence that she will only continue to thrive. You have my word on that,
he ends up saying, not wanting to delve into specifics.
Good. Good. I fear this will be the last time I see her. It's a gift to witness that spark in her eyes again. It gives me peace,
Ted replies softly.
You watched her grow up, did you not?
The captain asks, now curious.
Yes, I did. That girl had the meanest streak for a little while, but she was always polite coming in here. Her father Robert raised her right and helped her a great deal before passing. Such a shame, the cook answers somberly.
What can you tell me about the man? Simone speaks highly of him often, Chocknock questions.
Robert was the largest Terran I've ever laid eyes on. He was sent here as a teenager after his previous orphanage secured him work. A lot of young Terrans end up here that way if the military didn't already snatch him up. He was offered, but decided on remaining here. If you ever met him, you'd know why. Literal definition of gentle giant. Never heard anyone who didn't cross a line. And if you did cross that line, oh boy, you would never cross it again. I tell you, when it comes to Terrans, the more difficult to anger, the more dangerous they will be once angered. Thankfully, that was a rare thing to see from him,
Ted entails, as he tends to a roasting slab of meat.
How did he pass? Chocknock presses.
For damn reason, he was called to the mines to lend a helping hand with something. Now, that wasn't unheard of if people were out injured or sick, but as far as I could tell, that wasn't the reason. Whatever reason it wasn't good enough. Wrong place, wrong time. He was caught up in a terrible accident. Supports failed after a mining rover went rogue and crashed. He was not only buried, but a bar had punctured his protective suit. He passed when the atmosphere leaked. Real terrible thing. We had to spare and tweak the details for Simone. She was devastated enough, Ted explains.
Was there anyone at fault? How does a rover go rogue exactly?
No one else was around at the time. All the protective suits are tracked in case a cave-in were to happen, and the rover was his own that he took down. That can be driven manually or self-driven. We think something went haywire somehow, and after he stepped out, it careened itself right into the wall.
I see. But who called him down there? Why was he all alone? Chocknock points out.
The foreman at the time explained that someone put in a request in the automated system, and the system extended the request to Robert. It wasn't supposed to, really, but no one else must have been available to the system. Whoever sent the request must have thought it was ridiculous that Robert was contacted. I wandered off to get more proper help,
Ted elaborates, as he lifts the brown and crispy potatoes from the oil.
Is it known who sent in the request? Surely it would have been logged.
Of course it was, but only the foreman has immediate access to it. Considering how much of a freak accident it all was, he thought it was best to erase and spare the miner from social backlash. We were a tight-knit community, so he feared ostracizing the poor bastard over something that wasn't necessarily their fault. Of course he lost his position as foreman for doing it, despite constant questioning never revealed who it was. Some people believed he was to blame, but he was amongst a lot of other miners while that whole business went down, so I think that's unlikely.
Interesting. Is this man still dwelling here?
Chocknock inquires, pushing his finished beverage away.
Yes, sir. He still works the mines, but spends most of his time drowning in alcohol in the miners' barracks. He lives there now, probably to compensate in his own way. Hiding away, more like, Ted confirms. You actually want to seek him out?
Perhaps. Thank you. May the stars guide you, Chocknock farewells.
And you too. Keep the girl safe now, will ya? Ted calls out.
Count on it.
Vin and Seven watch as the Grats interact with the children, both Mick and Terran. After long initial strings of curious back and forth questioning, the children are eventually convinced to teach how to play this baseball game. It seems that if these two are of indication on, the Grat and the Terrans may yet get along very well. In fact, the Grat may get along with most other species, Seven notes, as Meek practice swings a metallic club, only to be corrected by one of the children via demonstration. I sure do hope that's the case. However, I fear that, in their ignorance, they will be taken advantage of. Perhaps not in the same manner as the Terrans, but a more or less friendly populace of Deathworlders is a prime workforce that few will ignore. Troops even, if the Grad people accept such agreements, Finn replies, but for a soft, underhanded throw is tossed to Meek. She misses gloriously as she misjudges how easy it is to swing in this environment. The children laugh, but the Grad couple joins in before setting up to try again. Grad don't need the stars will ill need them. That will likely be a strong point of leverage for their M to utilize, Seven counters thoughtfully. Finn shrugs. I suppose you have a point there. Meek manages to hit the next ball, but it flies straight up and miraculously lodges itself between two beams. The female Grad begins to apologize shamefully, before the group of kids cheer and hoot with their arms raised up high. It's apparently an achievement to lose a ball in that fashion, as with closer inspection the ceiling is noticeably littered with lost balls from generations past, like a mark of history for the young and old to gaze up and reminisce over together. Seven finds this incredibly beautiful, as they stare up and scan the layers of grime each and every ball has accrued over time. They estimate some of the oldest must have been up there for well over 100 standard years. Altogether tell a story, a wonderful story of persisting existence. Vin feels similarly, but takes the time to begin writing something into his personal datapad, as inspiration strikes. Hello? A woman's voice rings out as she steps into her unit. I hear we have special guests today. Jackie stands up from his seat and gives his incoming wife a welcoming hug and kiss. Welcome home, sweetie. Did you pick up? He begins to say, before Donna taps the top of his head with a datapad. Her straight shoulder-cut raven hair is easily carried by the plume of air from the light impact. Her rosy skin is dressed up with complementary makeup, and her soft blue eyes stand out from her thick, stylized eyeliner. Of course I did, you ding-dong. Had it all copied here, she responds, before seeing the two sitting on the couch. Holy shit, she's even more yoked than I imagined. Well, seeing you wasn't what I was expecting today, or a Callie for that matter. Hey, Donna, long time no see, Simone replies with a happy wave. Congrats on the marriage. I wouldn't have expected you two to be a pair. Yes, well, this dummy's dumb smile won me over. Turns out, generally overly happy people don't always piss me off, the fairly well-judged woman says, before giving Jackie a slow, deliberate smooch. Flushed out of his mind, Jackie stammers out, right. I asked Donna to get Denver's info for you on her way back home. Yep, not sure what a mysteriously returning woman wants with a dead crazy old man's contacts, but I try not to be nosy, Donna says, as she holds out the datapad for Simone to take. Well, that's new, Simone teases, as she takes hold of the pad, only for Donna to respond with her tongue sticking out like she used to do, causing the two to then laugh aloud. Donna then moves her hand to the Callie. Donna Malka, pleasure to meet you, she introduces. Chuck eagerly accepts and shakes the woman's hand with her upper limb. Thankfully, the grip was intentionally delicate. It's wonderful to meet you. I'm Chuck, Simone's fiancé. And that is SJ, the child we're racing together, she says, while indicating with her lower limb. The woman's face is taken by all that as she tries to process. However, she simply ends up smirking and giving Simone a side glance. How am I not surprised? She whispers in a chuckle. Exactly what I said, Jackie chimes in, as he crosses behind towards the kitchen again. Hope you didn't mind, I shared one of your pep tracks with her. That's fine, how are the girls? Donna responds, as she takes what was once Jackie's chair. Good, the sitter messaged me before leaving that the homework is all done, Jackie calls back. But Donna's eyebrow raises as he quickly comes back with a fresh soda in hand for her. Why do I hear a butt coming? She asks incredulously, as she accepts the cold beverage. Simone fed them cocoa pies. I fought valiantly, but alas I was too late to stop it. They were willing to clean their rooms in recompense, he whispers to her dramatically. In an amused but tired sigh, Donna pinches her brow and shakes her head. All right, but you're cooking dinner tonight, she says. Already defrosting meat for tacos, Jackie notifies. Sorry about that, Simone inputs, though her amusement is clear as day. You'll get this free pass, but you have to fill me in, Donna replies as she grins and brings her glass up to her face to peek over. How do you two meet? I want details. For the second time, Simone and Chuck divulge how they met, and how their relationship built up to this point. Leaving out certain elements, such as Chuck being the runaway princess and the crazy cult with connections to some sort of unknown alien race that encoded the entirety of sapient species in the universe. You know, inconsequential things.
So, you came onto her? By the stars, you are a brave one, Don amuses to Chuck.
Oh, well, after I realised she may move on with someone else if I hadn't, I knew that I needed to act. I didn't want to lose her and not say anything, but Kelly explains.
Bit of an understatement. You almost literally threw yourself at me, Simone chuckles with a roll of her eyes. Not that I'm a stranger to romantic dramas, but isn't there any conflict of interest with your employment situation? Donna inquires. We're less of a company, and more of an independent venture. We're a genuine family at this point, Simone answers. And even back then, it wasn't like an office situation. Though even if it was, I think we'd be both dumb enough to go for it anyway. Right. In any case, when's the wedding? Have a location in mind? Donna grills eagerly.
Chuck's eyes flash, and Simone's face flushes in unison.
Well, the proposal was rather recent, so we're still hammering out the details, Simone mutters.
Indeed. We're in no rush since we are already living together and have yet to decide what sort of ceremony to have. Beings of different species and all.
Chuck utters. A twist of determination is sparked in Donna's eyes. That is completely fair. However, if you needed someone to, say, be a sort of wedding planner, I would totally be open for such a thing, she offers, barely holding back her growing excitement.
Oh boy, Jackie mumbles, as he leans up against the chair. Simone and Chuck give each other an uncertain glance, not knowing what to say, or who would say it.
Simone starts, but fails to come up with anything.
That sounds lovely. However, it may be some time before we could even have the ceremony, Chuck attempts, not wanting to decide for the both of them.
Well, that would actually be perfect. I could do my due diligence and research Kelly's ceremonies to make sure it incorporates the best of both, Donna says, sending the couple back into an awkward staring contest. I mean, you seem pretty excited to do it. Mind if I ask why? Simone manages, at least redirecting the burden to buy time. Because it sounds like a whole heck of a lot of fun. I planned a wedding before, and having you two as the brides, I'm having so many ideas, the woman responds bluntly. But if you need time to consider, I totally understand. Simone eyes Chuck and gives a shrug. I'm cool with it, but what are you thinking? I'm sure you might already have some kind of place in mind, she says.
Chuck responds by first planting the side of her face in Simone's neck. I think this place would be a wonderful choice. It would also be nice to have those details left to someone who can actually plan it out, especially with our other, more pressing business to be concerned with. I like the idea. Wonderful. You won't regret it, I promise, Donna says, already making notes in her personal pad. I suppose, Simone starts before a call comes in, from Chognook. She answers quickly. Hey, Cap, everything alright?
With the rest of the crew, yes. But this is about you. Can you step somewhere alone?
The captain replies, in a tone so serious, it causes Simone to stand up.
Sure, just a second, she says, before looking to everyone else.
Excuse me, I need to step out for this. I'll be right outside, she notifies, giving Chuck a reassuring look.
After she steps out, she wanders to a window overlooking parts of the colony, fearing to see Union ships in the stars above.
Okay, what's up? She asks. Chocolate then relays all of his conversation with Ted regarding her father's fate. Simone nods along, even though she can't be seen doing it. It's hard to listen to, but it's genuinely nice to be finally aware of what happened to him. Yet she can't help but hold a lingering anger towards the old foreman, though she can't say that she wouldn't have done the same in his shoes, it being such a freak accident and all. Perhaps that's why she's angry. Thank you, Chugnook, I appreciate, she begins to say, before the captain cuts back in.
Simone, there's more.
What do you mean?
I had a bad feeling, so I snuck my way into a morgue and filtered through the records. Wasn't caught. But I pulled up pictures of your father's autopsy. Most of the wounds are attributed to the falling debris, but... Simone, I do not say this lightly. I know defensive wounds when I see them.
Rage?
No. Rage is red. This is a hot, blinding white that sears within Simone's very mind and soul. And yet she is so calm. So very calm.
What's his name?
She hears herself ask. Trent Billings.
Got it.
She closes the call and moves back in the unit with a smile on her face. She knows it's only from the tone of her voice.
Hey, I gotta make a quick errand, personal business. Would you guys be okay if I left Chuck and SJ here in the meantime? Of course. Chuck and I can start early planning and she can inform me of all the must-haves for a Kelly ceremony, Donna replies.
Simone nods and hands over SJ, who nestles in Chuck's lap, a bit too eager to separate from their imprinted mother. Chuck eyes Simone with underlying worry. She can instinctually tell something is off with her Terran, but can't nail it down. Are you alright? She asks. I'll fill you in later, Simone promises, before watching herself kiss the Callie on the forehead and turn to leave. Simone hits the ground strutting before the rover can come to a complete halt. The miners she passes by make way as they notice the fully armoured Terran march with clear intent and purpose. Security rolls up to meet her cautiously. To their relief, she stops to speak. Hey, sorry, I'm in a bit of a rush. I'm here to see a Trent Billings. I hear the guy practically lives in one of the barracks. Her voice says pleasantly. Mind if we ask who you are? One of the security team asks. Just a hired courier. I've got a time-sensitive delivery for him. Her voice answers. Right, look, we can't just let a fully armoured individual waltz into a mine, even if it's just to the barracks. How about you leave your delivery with us to take to him? The security personnel responds nervously. That ain't gonna fly, I'm afraid. I'm paid extra for confidentiality, but if you feel more comfortable escorting me the entire way there, I'm cool with that, her voice says. The two security call in to their superiors, and after a few short moments, confusion grows on their shielded faces. You've been cleared to enter. He's currently in Barrack 31, the guard says, not quite believing it himself. With a nod, Simone continues on into a walled corridor that has barracks listings 20 to 30. She then receives an incoming message of text from an unknown source. I know who you are and why you're there. Don't make a mess. Don't blow up our mine. Seems as someone high up on the colony's ladder has a doubt for Trent as well. Interesting, but not important right now. Not now. Simone marches down to 31 and wastes no time opening the door. Within are several off-duty miners resting up and minding their own business. All look up in shock at the intruder. Trent Billings? Simone's voice asks, very casually in a polite tone. Many look to the far back right corner, where a single man sat trembling at a recreational table. Found him. Everyone else, leave. Her tone shifting to anything but polite. She begins walking forward, allowing the people within to start draining out in the rush behind her. The man sits, eyes locked onto her, under his low-hanging cap. He's older, but not quite elderly. Hair is more grey than white, but the familiar toll of long-term alcoholism is certainly apparent. Even under his baggy clothes, Simone can make out a thin, wiry frame, with no sort of defensive weapon in sight. She stops at the side of the table and waits for the door to fully seal, leaving just the two of them completely alone. Surprised you fucks didn't come sooner, the man said in a whisper of a voice, trying to sound humorous for his fear. So, is it going to be here? Or are we going somewhere? Simone hears the click of her helmet seal separating, before she apparently lifts it off her head. Trent is confused at first, but recognition hits him like a freight shuttle. Oh shit, he rasps, in a terror tenfold, eyes now whiter than saucers. Simone carefully sets her helmet down on the table, and stares directly into the man's screaming eyes. Who killed my father? Her voice says, deadpan. Trent's head shakes rapidly. No. It was a freak accident. The metal table is absolutely demolished with a single downward strike. A flowing jolt of fright sends Trent back, crashing on the floor and off his seat. Who killed my father? Simone's voice rings out again. The whimpering man backpedals on his hands as the armoured redhead slowly approaches. He slams his back into the wall and screams out for help. No one comes to answer the call. Simone, please, he yells, in a wet mess of tears and snot. Unrelenting, the redhead snatches the man by the scruff of his shirt and hoists him off the ground to pin him up against the wall. She's not gentle. Who killed my father? She demands in a powerful roar that's only reserved for the desperation of battle. She holds the man who is sobbing for his life. Words fumble from his mouth as sheer panic overwhelms him. Patiently, she waits long enough for him to finally speak with clarity. Robert wouldn't want this. Your father wouldn't want you to do this, Trent pleads in a sob, grabbing at Simone's pauldrons. With her free arm, Simone unholsters her plasma colt and jams the barrel down the man's mouth to shut him up. I'm not my father. Her finger moves to the trigger. I'm going to ask you one last time. If you don't answer, I'm melting your goddamn body piece by piece with plasma until you do. Understand? Who killed my father? Simone drew the pistol free from the whimpering man's maw, causing him to gag and cough. He looks down, not wanting to make eye contact. It was fucking Ember. Fuck. It was Ember. This thrusts Simone back into her own mind space. She was long dead, she states, not believing it. She can't believe it. Enraged, she presses the pistol into Trent's temple. She was dead!